Hello, I'm Emma Levy. Now, if you're considering booking in for your first session with me, I think it's likely that you'll have some questions. You might have concerns, and that's why I've created this video and some other videos elsewhere on the website to answer your questions and concerns. And of course, you're very welcome to get in touch with me to find out anything else that you would like to know before going ahead. So let's start with some of the most common questions. Where can you have your coaching sessions with me? Well, face-to-face or in person is in Aberfeldy, and I also offer sessions online. Many of my clients do a combination of both of those. If you're not very local to Aberfeldy and coming to my clinic involves taking some time for travel, then it may be that we start off in clinic and then have some sessions remotely over Zoom before you come back sometime later to clinic. Thinking about when I can offer sessions, generally Monday to Friday, roughly 9 to 5, with some flexibility around start and finish times. And there is also flexibility regarding the frequency and duration of sessions. Now, generally, the longer the session, the more we can get done, but we also need to take into account how much of that time is going to be helpful. So first of all, we need to think about what's a suitable amount of time for a session, and also how frequently we're going to have coach sessions together. And this is absolutely flexible. So if it suits you to have a shorter session regularly once a week, for example, that's entirely possible. And equally, if it doesn't suit you, maybe because of your working schedule or because of whereabouts you are and you would rather have a longer gap, that's absolutely fine as well. And we can make changes to how we organise scheduling and timing as we go along. Now, which brings me to another common question: how many sessions will I need? I'm afraid it's a kind of how long is a piece of string question. Right from the start, I don't know. Most people need more than one session. Think about what your goals are. It's unlikely that they'll be achieved in one session. I can give some kind of guidance on how many you might need once I have had a first session with you and seen the type of progress, that the kind of things that change during that session and the extent of those changes, and that helps me to get a sense of how many sessions you might need. Another thing, of course, to answer that question is, well, what we do together, whether it's in clinic, whether it's in the swimming pool, wherever it is an opportunity for us to explore what's currently going on in your body and to look at some different stimuli for changing the way that your body is working. But it's quite unlikely that you will immediately create the change you want just in that session. What's really important is that by the end of the session, you know what you're going to go away and practice, and then you do lots of independent practice. Whether this is you, whether it's your child who you're supervising doing that practice at home, for example. It's that repetition that takes time, and that is what will make the changes in your body. Usually we're working together to make changes from a current habitual movement pattern, a habitual way of your sensory motor systems working, the way that your nervous system is working, to start to create, to embed new patterns sensory motor, working together, and doing that often enough that they become the way that your body operates instead of reverting to the old ways of doing things. And those changes in your body are really only going to happen through lots of practice. And this is also one of the reasons why nearly all of the sessions I offer are one-to-one, because everybody's body is different and has reached the point it's currently at through different experiences. So in clinic, when we're working on dry land, that will almost always be just you and me, one-to-one. I occasionally offer group sessions. This is particularly swimming in the swimming pool, where we're looking at several swimmers working on the same skills at the same time. But generally, if we're looking at other aspects of movement or other changes that you're working on, it'll be one-to-one. And that allows me to tailor everything we do to your needs at that moment. And this also brings me to the importance of our initial contact. And this is also one of the reasons why I don't offer online booking, because it's really important that we have an in-depth chat to help you to decide whether I am the right person to help you to work towards the goals that you are, that you have identified and set for yourself. And we need to get a sense of how we're going to work together. So if you're considering booking a session with me, please get in touch. Get in touch by email, by WhatsApp, by phone, and let's arrange an initial chat, which may be 20-30 minutes, for me to get a better understanding of what your current situation is, what it is you want to work towards, and for me to have a sense of whether I'm the right person to help you with that, and for you to ask me any questions that haven't been answered by things that you found on this website, for example, and to decide whether you want to go ahead. So that initial contact is really important. Then, if you decide that you would like to go ahead, the first thing I'll do is actually send you some forms to fill in, so that regardless what you have told me during that first conversation, I will have some other very specific questions, and I'll ask you, depending what the reason is for you coming to me, I might ask you to fill in just a standard registration form where you give me some information about your medical history and some general information about your goals, but I might also ask you to fill in, whether this is on your own behalf or on your child's behalf, what I call a neurosensory motor screening questionnaire, which asks you to think back as well as thinking about the current situation, to give me a lot of information to help me to prepare our first session together. And that way, as soon as we have that first session, we don't have to spend a lot of time chatting. I've done a lot of initial preparation, and of course there will be ongoing assessment throughout that first session, but I will be in a much better position to get started. And again, depending what it is you're coming to me for, I might, for example, ask you to video yourself walking from different angles, or if it's swimming, if you can video yourself swimming, for example, so that I can do some analysis of your movement before we actually meet. And then, as well as those forms, I also will send you a link so that you can make payment online, and your booking is secured when I receive that payment. Now, perhaps the biggest question is, well, why am I the right person for you to come to for coaching with whatever, to help you to deal with whatever the challenge is that you're facing and work towards your goals? Well, of course, it's possible I might not be, and that's one reason why we need to have a good chat to start with. Also, there are never any guarantees. What I can guarantee, though, is if we've reached the point where you have given me plenty of information about your history, your current situation, your goals, and you've responded to questions in the questionnaires that I send you, then it's highly likely that what we do together is really going to help. However, as I said, it is also going to depend very much on how effectively you do the practice outside the sessions. So we might be generally looking at spending some time doing exercises of whatever are appropriate kinds for yourself most days of the week, probably 5 times a week at least, making sure you've got time to do those, whether it's in a chunk of 15 to 30 minutes or spreading things out through the day. The better able you are to do those, to do them in a way that is going to be helpful, which we will have established during the sessions, the more likely it is that you'll reach the outcomes that you're working towards. And this is also why I ask you to keep in touch with me between sessions, because I would hate for you to have questions and save them when actually it may be that you need to slightly adjust things that you're practicing to get better outcomes. Finally, yes, I am here to support you in many different ways. You will be doing most of the work through your practice between sessions. I want to make sure that that is good quality practice, the right kind of things, and you will be making daily progress. Sometimes we get an instant sense of something that has changed, but often it may take some time, because when we're thinking about changes in the nervous system, things can be happening in our body that do not necessarily reveal themselves until we've done something quite a few times. So I'm confident that through our work together you will progress towards your goals, and I look forward to speaking to you to talk about how I can help you to do that.